Hello, welcome to Love Out Loud with First Baptist Church in Jacksonville. My name is Caleb Klauser, and today I want to share some thoughts about where our faith comes from. I've been reading a new book lately, and I've been getting a lot out of it. One point that really stopped me in my tracks, though, was the observation of where we as Christians center our faith. Where do we get our focus, our drive, our guidance for believing what we believe and doing something about it? It obviously can't be from within or from each other. We are imperfect beings. Of course, we should be willing to reach out and help one another, offer advice and support, but that's not the source of our faith. A human being should not be the central focus of or inspiration for anyone's faith or belief in God. Are we a Bible-centered faith? Now, there's the tricky part. We know what we know about faith, God, Jesus, salvation, and the resurrection through the Bible. But the Bible is not the center of Christianity as a religion and should not be the center of our faith. If you look through history, and I won't lie, even today, any argument about Christian beliefs and expectations will have biblical backup. Pro and anti-slavery, pro and anti-women's rights, social programs, refugee support, and on and on and on. Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me. But too often in history and in arguments happening even today and around the world, the ethos people are portraying is more along the lines of, I can do all things through a verse taken out of context. Even Satan knows the power of this. From the very beginning in the garden, he had Eve doubting and misunderstanding God's instructions about the eating or not eating of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. God says just not to eat it in chapter 2. But in chapter 3, the serpent gets Eve to say that God said they also couldn't touch it, twisting the words. Then again, in Luke 4:1-13, Satan tempts Jesus by quoting prophecies from the Old Testament and the prophets, trying to trip him up and defy the Father's will and plan. Think about it this way. Acts 11:26 says that believers at Antioch were the first ones to be called Christians, meaning little Christs. They weren't called little Bibles. The Bible wasn't written or put together yet, but little Christs. Here's a powerful set of comparisons by a Christian author, Jordan Harrell, to help emphasize the difference. Genocide is in the Bible. So is loving your enemy, but one is Christ-like. Slavery is in the Bible, and so is freedom and a way out, but one of them is Christ-like. Patriarchy is in the Bible, and so is the elevation of women, but one of them is Christ-like. Violent justice is in the Bible, and so is graceful restoration, but one of them is Christ-like. Segregation is in the Bible, and so is unity, but one of them is Christ-like. I'm not saying there are things in the Bible that shouldn't be there. Far from it. Everything in history has a place and a purpose and something we can learn from it. That's why the whole thing is still there. But we have to remember that context is key. After all, the Bible is still a wonderful and a marvelous tool, a great gift from God that has been meticulously put together, preserved, and passed down through the ages. But like all tools, it can be misused, taken out of context, stretched, or broken apart to mean something other than the loving message that God wanted to share with us and that he wants us to share with other people, those around us. The Bible may be where the words of Jesus are recorded, but Jesus, the Son of God, is where those words came from. To sum this up, I would like to point out an amazing phrase that our pastor Patrick Emily has used a lot in the last couple years and had a whole sermon series devoted to it. The Bible is a unified story that leads to Jesus. As the book of John opens, speaking of Jesus, in the beginning was the Word, capitalized, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men, and the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. Jesus was there at the beginning. Please carry that with you today. Jesus is and always has been the center today and every day. We need to remember that as we hold on to our faith and carry it and Him forward with us. Thank you again for listening today. If you would like to hear more about Jesus and His teachings and God's love for you and all people, please visit us at First Baptist Church in Jacksonville. Or you can visit our Facebook page where we share these devotions along with our regular Sunday services every week. In the meantime, have peace, love on, and God bless.